coat of arms, the emblem, is quite telling from the point of view of tourism. When the governor at the time accepted this as a coat of arms, he really took into interest what would be most critical for a country like Uganda. And the first thing was peace and security. And the security of the country was captured from the point of view of having a shield in our emblem, in our coat of arms. A shield for protection against enemies, buttressed by spears, which one can use to defend oneself. So you have, we have in our emblem, we have got the shield, we have the spear for self-defense, and in my view, you can never have a country which is not well protected and it survives. Similarly, you can never have a country that attracts tourism or tourists if there is no peace and security in that country. The starting point is always peace and security. And right from the 60s, just before independence, when the coat of arms, the national emblem was approved, this was critical in the thinking of those who were in charge of this country at that time. And NRM government has lived up to the task of ensuring that there is peace, there is tranquility, there is security for individuals and their property within the country. So my view is that this emblem, those who designed it really had the interests of the country at heart, but they also were able to capture the prerequisites of a country that will be able to survive for a number of years to come. Two is the weather, the tranquil weather, the excellent weather. When you see the colors that were selected, they are quite telling in terms of the weather that this beautiful country of ours, Uganda, happens to have. You see the sunshine, and the sun is caught in the middle there, and the sunshine is experienced all the year round. And the temperatures are conducive to one being in a position to carry out whatever activities that one wants. Then the Lake Victoria and the other lakes in the country. Then River Nile, which is flowing, as you can see when you look at the national emblem. So these are critical issues, and they help us to attract tourists. Then there was the issue of cotton and coffee, which were major crops for the country, major exports. Coffee is still a major export. Cotton is still being exported, and the bulk of the country were producing these export items. Then from the point of tourism, the rare bird, the uniqueness of the crane, and it comes out here in our national emblem. Just like the cob. When you go to the national parks, you will see the cobs in their numbers, in millions of numbers. And Uganda is associated with the cob. Uganda is associated with the crane. The crane is a rare bird, and it is well protected by the instruments in this country. The birding business is becoming major business for the country because 50% of the wild birds are represented here in Uganda. And anybody who wants to do tourism focused on birds and birding, you come to Uganda. Mr. Herbert Byaruhanga, who has become a world figure from the point of view of birding and birding tourism, is here, and is also the chairman of Uganda Tourism Association. So these are things that are well captured in our national emblem, in our coat of arms. They were relevant at that time before independence, just as we got our independence. They remain relevant today, and we are making use of them. First of all, when you see this bird and its colors, These colors are rarely found in any other bird, and they are associated with our national colors. When you look at our national colors, and which is red, yellow, black, and then you look at the crane. The crane also happens to carry these colors, including white, and these colors have a special significance. Now, this is a very rare bird that happens to be endowed with the colors that any human being would be interested in. It is a beautiful bird. It's a bird that everybody would like to see, but it also moves in a very dignified way. When you see the crane moving around, it moves in a dignified way. And it is not the type of bird that is found everywhere. The Karoris, you can see the Karoris causing havoc in Kampala all the time, threatening the city. The crane is not like that. So from that point of view, it is a special bird, and many tourists come to Uganda so that they can be in a position to capture the crane in its natural environment. And it is our duty to take advantage of this, amplify it, inform the world about its existence here, and we market as we market the country. There were bylaws that were protecting the crane. In the 60s, they were highly respected. Even today, they are highly respected. And I can tell you, government has stepped up vigorously in terms of protecting rare game and rare birds. And the crane has been in a position to benefit from the vigilance of government, the law enforcement officers, in terms of protecting our rare animals and birds. Birding is a new line of tourism that is coming up. Previously, yes, we had all these birds, we would talk about them, we would market them, but nobody had taken that line of tourism very seriously. However, as I told you, Mr. Herbert Byaruhanga, who is a world-renowned figure from the point of view of birding tourism, is also now the chairman of Uganda Tourism Association. He has been in a position to amplify the importance of birds from the point of view of tourism. And I think later this year, we are having an international conference on tourism, but focusing on ladies. So the ladies from all over the world will be coming here to do tourism from the point of view of birds. So it is gaining significance. It's gaining significance. Instead of people going to Latin America to look for birds, they are now saying the natural environment for birds is Uganda, and they'll be coming here to view birds, to associate with the birds, observe them critically in their natural environment, see what is peculiar with them, record these peculiarities, and share them with other people in different parts of the world. You know, previously we used to have Uganda hotels in the 60s. Uganda Development Corporation set up Uganda hotels, and we had hotels like Kabale, White Horse Inn, Soroti Hotel, Lira Hotel, Acholi Inn, Crested Crane in Jinja, Masaka, there was one in Masaka. In practically all the districts at that time, there was a hotel owned and run by Uganda Hotels, which was an agency of Uganda Development Corporation. Today, individuals have taken interest in this business, the private sector. We have close to 3,800 hotels in the country, which is a major development in the country. That government, through its, the NRM government, through its policy of liberalization, created an opening, created an avenue for the private sector to participate in vibrant and lucrative business in the hotels. That does not mean to say that there are no challenges being faced by those who own hotels. There are challenges, things like taxation, things like internet capacity, things like the quality of power supply, and so on and so forth. Now it is our duty as Uganda Tourism Board, Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, Uganda Hotel Owners Association, to take interest in the challenges that the industry is faced with and put them on the table so that they can discuss. We have been engaging government on the issue of taxes. There are about 25 taxes, and they are a problem to people who own hotels. And we have presented this to government, we presented this to Parliament, we've had discussions, we said there's a need to harmonize these taxes so that they do not inconvenience, they do not encumber the hotel owners. There is the issue of VAT. The VAT law had a problem in that as soon as you issued an invoice and it was immediately recognized by URA, they would expect you to remit. It was expected that you were paid and you would be required as a hotel to remit VAT or 18% to Uganda Revenue Authority. But as you know, many businesses run on credit, and some of the institutions that seek credit take too long to pay. Now, what was happening was that the hoteliers would be faced with a challenge of the VAT accrual and interest being computed by URA, after which there would also be penalty. This was impoverishing those in the hotel industry. It was denying them of resources to improve on their hotels, to turn them into efficient facilities. They were denying the hotel industry of resources for applying back for investment. But this matter has been dealt with. The law was amended, and all of us are getting relief in that URA will not expect payment until the institution that was provided services with has released the funds. So the expectations of URA only follow due when funds have been released to the service provider. And I think this is a major breakthrough on our part. We all worked on it to secure the amendment, and it has created great relief in the industry. What remains is harmonizing the many taxes that are still being required of the industry to pay. First of all, I must say, yes, we were badly hit by COVID. Badly hit by COVID for nearly 2 years. We had no business, and those who had taken up loans to put up hotels are still suffering with those loans and the interest, particularly which accrued during the COVID period. We have presented this as a matter for consideration by government, and we are looking forward to a solution coming up. With the lifting of the lockdown, business is returning to normal. Business is returning to normal, and we have started seeing tourists coming back. Domestic tourists have come back in big numbers. When we had Munyonyo, you could see the numbers were building up. But also in the game parks, the numbers have actually gone beyond the 2019 numbers in terms of tourists who are visiting the game parks. Queen Elizabeth National Park, Murchison Falls National Park, Lake Mburu, Kidepo, and the others that we have. The numbers have gone up and have already gone beyond the pre-COVID numbers. What is most interesting is that the bulk of the tourists that we are now getting in the game parks and other areas of touristic attraction are domestic tourists. The Ugandans have developed a love for areas, for places of touristic attraction in the country. This is a very, very good development. They say every dark cloud has a silver lining. We had COVID, and before COVID, Ugandans were not taking domestic tourism very seriously. But with COVID, Ugandans have developed a love for areas of touristic interest within the country. And these numbers are building up. But we are also seeing international tourists coming back. Recently, we had the Nyege in Jinja. We had never seen such numbers come to attend Nyege. I saw bus loads and truck loads of people from Kenya, coming to attend Nyege at Itanda Falls in Jinja. I saw people and I talked to people from Silicon Valley in America. I talked to people from Australia. I talked to people from Dubai. I talked to people from England. Now, that was a good indication that tourists have, there is a rebound in the tourism industry. And it gave us an opportunity for the world to get to know that Uganda is now back in the tourism business, and the entire world was free to come back to Uganda and enjoy tourism experiences as per our brand. You come and visit Uganda, you explore Uganda, the pearl of Africa. We saw all these people coming, and it is a clear indicator that tourism is on the upward trajectory once again. But we are also seeing a lot of interest in meetings and conferences within the country. This never used to be the case, but the numbers of meetings and conferences is growing up, and I want to assure everybody that we shall be in a position to host the people who come here for these international conferences. We are expecting some major conferences. We have been bidding for some, and we have been considered favorably for the Non-Aligned Movement Conference, which is coming up next year. We are having the International Rotary Conference, which is coming here. We are having a meeting, International Conference on Drugs, under MICE, which is meetings and conferences. We have been lobbying for these conferences. They are coming our way. And there are many regional conferences, there are many continental conferences, there are many domestic conferences that are coming up. This is possible because facilities have been developed to host conferences. The conference, we used to have Munyonyo only, but now we have the Serena here in Kampala and Rancho on the Lake. We have the Imperial Resort. We have Hotel Africana here in Kampala. We have the Mystery. We have got many conferences that are coming up. The other day, the president was opening Dr. Vitature's big hotel in Naguru. And there are many in Jinja that have also come up. Source of the Nile, the Mada hotels, and so many others which have come up in Mbale, in Gulu. So we can host conferences at an international level, at a continental level, at a regional level, and domestic level. Our drive is to make sure that every district has good facilities that are well equipped to handle any conference that comes to the country, depending on the numbers. So we are really trying to take advantage of that branch of tourism, and I'm sure at the end of the day, there will be dividends for all of us. Then there is mountaineering, people who are looking for experience. The king of Toro, King Oyo, led an expedition to the summit of Rwenzori, summit of Margarita. And when he was there, he could see and market Uganda in a manner that you could not tell. He had so many international tours. Almost every major media house in the world was there, National Geographic, BBC, CNN. They accompanied King Oyo to the summit of Rwenzori. And when he was there, he could see as far wide as Congo, Bulega, South Sudan, and many other parts of Uganda that used to comprise the kingdom of Bunyoro Kitara. Now, the king was not in search of territorial aggrandizement. He was doing this for tourism. He was doing this for climate change. And I can tell you, he did a wonderful job, because ever since King Oyo's expedition to the summit of Rwenzori, we have seen a number of groups of people, both local and international, organizing expeditions to the summit of Mount Rwenzori. We are going to see greater interest taken in mountaineering as an adventure. So some will be going up Rwenzori, some will be going up Elgon, some are going up Kaguru, and I can tell you this is one other area of tourism that has come up. Lately, Uganda has won a lot of acclaim because of the success we have had with our athletes, Chiptegei, our young men and women from Kapchora. They have done the country a lot of good, and this has given us a lot of publicity. So sports tourism is also coming up. But what is interesting is that the whole world is saying, these guys who are winning gold medals from Uganda, what is it that they are doing that is not happening in the other parts of the world that is making the Ugandans win gold medals? So the Highland Training Center in Kapchora is also becoming a major tourist attraction area on the part of athletes from different parts of the world who want to come and train in the Kapchora area, and also be in a position to go and compete internationally. We are optimistic that we shall be in a position to take advantage of this, so that when they are training in the high altitude areas of Kapchora, they can also go down the Sipi Falls and be in a position to experience the attractions of Sipi Falls and the other attractions around Kapchora and Mbale area, the mountain Elgon area. I think these are things that were not there in the 1960s or had not featured prominently in the 1960s, but have come up over time with the NRM government guaranteeing greater peace and security in the country, providing greater publicity to what the country has to offer, and we are seeing that these are new branches of tourism that are coming up, because previously the focus was mainly on the game parks. But now, because of the new programs that the NRM government has put on board, we are seeing interest being developed in mountaineering, in sports tourism, in marine tourism. There is a lot of activity on River Nile, tubing, bungee jumping, rafting, and you find all these on the Nile. And you know the Nile runs from Lake Victoria up to the border with Sudan. So wherever you go along the Nile, there is something to do with the tourism that has come up. There are hotels and lodges on the shores of Lake Victoria, just as there are on the banks of River Nile. So these are areas of tourism that have come up over time, and on which we shall be building, so that the country can be in a position to do even better from the point of view of tourism, from the point of view of earnings for the country. I'm sure you are aware that prior to COVID in 2019, the outbreak of COVID, tourism was the leading foreign exchange earner for the country, bringing in about 1.6 billion US dollars per annum. Now we are hoping that with all these new developments, the earnings from the number of tourists to the country are going to go up, and the earnings from tourism will also go up, and the returns to Ugandans will also go up from the point of view of employment and from the point of view of income. Courtesy of Nyegenyege, there are new sports that have come up, like Itanda Falls. Everybody used to talk about Bujagali Falls, but after Nyegenyege, everybody is saying, which is this sport called Itanda Falls? When you go out on the internet, you find that everybody is searching for Itanda Falls because of what happened courtesy of Nyegenyege. And I'm told we shall be having another round of Nyegenyege come next year. This has really helped us to publicize some of these sports which had not been known, but also to get investors to provide facilities that can help Uganda compete favorably from an international point of view, in a sense that the facilities will be equipped with everything that you would find in any other country to make a tourist sport and its facilities acceptable to those who are marketing various touristic spots in the country.